What's up, everybody? SkullCrusher here, and yes, boomers, we are coming right back at you with another Boom Beach video, guys. In today's video, we're going to be covering 6 different layouts for 5 5 engine room gameplay, and I'm very excited for today's video as well, because we are taking a little bit of a different format on it. There's going to be no face cam, and we're also just going to be having screenshots of the grid formation of each different layout, guys, so that way, for those of you that would like to try any of these base layouts, it'll be super easy and convenient for you to just pause the video and you'll have the base layout on the screen in the grid formation. So guys, we're going to get things started here with number 1. Let's give a big shout out to Shiskabobber and Opdestroy, because we are going to go right to the Shiskabobber Opdestroy. And this warship layout is popular and credited to Shiskabobber and Opdestroy because they were rocking it and have made it popular to a lot of the warship players out there. And this is probably one of the most common 5 warship layouts you're going to come across here. Now, this one is a really good warship layout, guys. You're going to have the 2 warships, or the 2 engine rooms, tucked away in the top left there, and then you will have the 2 ERs tucked away in the bottom right there as well, normally with a lone ER somewhere in the middle there. And at the same time, too, guys, your prototype, depending if you have 1 or 2, you're generally going to want to space that somewhere in between that middle engine room and that top left ER as well, giving it the space as well, meaning no defenses and mines around it. Most likely there will be a 99.99% chance your opponent will BART out that prototype, so make them work for it. At the same time, too, guys, you're definitely going to want to have a nice selection of mines on that far right, leading up to those 2 top right engine rooms, due to the fact that we are seeing a lot more of the new meta emerge, and there will be that late drop with 1 landing craft rifleman, 1 landing craft bombardiers, and you want to give them some mines to run into to start inflicting that pain, that damage as soon as possible. So this is a great base here, once again, to defend against Heavy Zuka, once again, to defend against the new meta. That's the 3-5 Rifleman Bombardier Kavan with 2nd win. The one troop combo that actually might have a good chance at steamrolling this base, and I've seen it a few times actually, is all Riflemen with Kavan and Crystal Shield, or all Riflemen and Zuka, or a Rifleman Zuka split with Kavan and Crystal Shield. So once again, guys, a very good 5 warship layout here. Big shout out to Shiskabobber and, of course, Opdestroy. Do not forget to subscribe to their YouTube channels, guys. We will have direct links to them in the description of this video below. So transitioning into number 2 here, guys, we are going to have the Mr.Orland. Now, this is a fantastic 5 warship layout, guys, and I mean, Mr.Orland is also on that global leaderboard. You guys can go check them out. Once again, the base layout will be very similar. You're going to notice a lot more tech on the actual Mr.Orland's warship layout with regards to a 2nd prototype and shock launchers. Nonetheless, guys, this is an awesome warship layout here, again, to defend against Heavy Zuka and to defend against the new meta, the 3-5 Rifleman Bombardier with Kavan and 2nd win, guys. Having those 4 mortars really close, concentrated together by that lone bottom left ER, and then having the 2 more ERs so close to the bottom left there as well, or sorry guys, on the right side. This is a complete trap, okay? It's a bottleneck. There is an insane amount of splash damage coming in from those mortars, and then of course, depending on whatever prototype you have, in this case it's the laser, that is going to support those mortars as well. So depending on the troop deployment dropped on that right tier, that is a lot of splash damage coming in at once. I know it looks very tempting having those 3 ERs so close together, but guys, I'm warning you, it's a trap. You're much better deploying from the left side. Just be cautious, because normally you will see a fair amount of mines spread out as well, and that's also to deter and stop against that Rifleman and that Bombardier deployment, the new meta there. So having a good selection of mines spaced out, in this case it's 3 rows of mines leading up to our flamethrowers, which is also splash damage going right at those Riflemen. That's if it's the new meta. This is a great defense here to essentially stop the new meta. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to completely stop it, because let's be honest, guys, level 5 bombardiers are completely destructive, and they will destroy everything in their path. but this is an awesome layout to rock, guys. We've got a high concentrated volume of single-shot defenses with the cannons and the boom cannons in the center there, of course, with more mines evenly spaced between the rows of cannons and boom cannons. So big shout out to Mr.Orland, guys. This is a fantastic Warship layout here. So we're going to transition into Warship layout number 3 here, guys. And I want to give a big shout out to my boy, Pete Minstrel, aka General Electric. Guys, we're talking the trailer park here. And once again, I don't think he's rocking this exact layout anymore. But this layout does have to do with the 2 engine rooms tucked away on the far left there. Generally, the 2 ERs evenly spaced on the mid right there, on the mid left there, with 1 more engine room tucked away at the top left, guys. And you're generally going to have a nice selection of defenses, highly concentrated in between the 4 engine rooms, essentially in the middle of the warship here. In this case, guys, we've got that front row of the mortars, of the boom cannons. There's snipers in there with very close mines as well. You can also space your mines out as well to maximize your chance of dealing damage. I sometimes like having the mines very close together because that domino effect with mines going off, max level mines, even if it's riflemen or heavies, is absolutely destructive. And of course, guys, we've got that lone prototype all by himself, protecting or leading the way to the top left engine room there with a front line of boom mines, once again to protect against that delayed drop of riflemen and bombardiers. Once again, guys, there's a 99.9% chance your opponent will BART out that prototype there, so it's best to leave it alone. No defenses around it, no mines. Make your opponent work for killing that prototype. So big shout out to the trailer park here, guys. This is an awesome 5ER Warship layout if you are just starting out. Once you start progressing and getting a little more tech, I would recommend switching over to possibly the Mr.Orland or the Shiskabobber Opdestroy, but an awesome Warship layout none the less. Alright, guys, we're going to transition into Warship layout number 4 here, and you know we had to have this one on the list, guys. We are talking the SS Poundtown, and I love it, guys. Once again, big shout out to Shiskabobber. He is the one responsible for designing this Warship layout. Now, it might not be exactly to what I have here, but it is very similar with the Warship separation here, or the engine room separation. You're going to notice that we've got the 2 ERs very close along that right wall there. A little bit further up on the right, we've got 1 more ER tucked away at the top left. We've got another one, and then way up against that left top wall, we've got another engine room as well. So this is a very good Warship layout to defend against heavy Zuka attacks, because generally the attack will have to start at the bottom right of the left tier there, with the heavies and Zukas making their way to that front line of defenses. In this case, it's a cannon and 2 machine guns, and then they generally will follow that natural path of defenses, going from defense to defense, engine room to engine room, buying you enough time to hopefully be faster than your opponent. So this is a great, and I mean great, Warship layout for slowing down your opponents, and of course for the heavy Zuka players, this is fantastic for really slowing them down and giving you the time that you need to progress. Now, with that being said, keep in mind we've got the lone prototype in the center there. With that prototype being there, we said this before, guys, there's a 99.99% chance your opponent will BART out that prototype. So in this case, guys, we don't want any defenses, any mines around it. We are going to leave it there, because in case my opponent doesn't BART it out, then it is still in a strategically well-placed position to inflict damage to those heavies and Zukas. And of course, if we are dealing with the new meta drop, and we're talking the 3.5 Rifleman Bombardiers, then we've got a very, very heavy selection of mines on that far left side there, leading up to those boom cannons and cannon there, because of course I want to inflict as much damage as possible to those riflemen, so they are not there to protect the bombardiers, leaving the boom cannons open range to pick them off. That's hoping that the riflemen get killed by the mines and that the bombardiers will be in range of the boom cannons. So once again, guys, big shout out to Shiskabobber. This is a fantastic Warship layout here, guys. If you are a heavy Zuka player, or if you are getting dominated by heavy Zuka players, I highly recommend you switch your warship layout to the SS Poundtown, which will be dominant in slowing down those heavy Zuka players. So alright guys, we are going to transition into number 5 here, and this one will be the race base slash spread out base, guys. So this is another warship layout that really makes your opponent work for it, and that's just with regards to the natural path that the troops take, and with the formation and the layout of the defenses and the engine rooms. As you can see, guys, we've got 2 ERs tucked away at that back left side, guys. 2 more ERs tucked away at the top right top right tier, and then 1 more ER tucked away at the bottom right as well. Guys, we've got an evenly deployed selection of defenses here along the front there with the flamethrowers and the boom cannon. The mines are also evenly spaced out as well, depending if our opponent is using heavy Zuka or the new meta, the 3-5 Rifleman Bombardier. This warship layout will defend against both. It will defend against the heavy Zuka better than the Rifleman Bombardier for the heavy Zuka, depending even if your opponent does a split drop, meaning dropping troops on the right and left tier. It's a good idea to stack defenses on that right tier, because not only is it much smaller, but you also have 2 ERs placed there, and you really kind of want to psych your opponent out and thinking that he might have a chance there with a split drop. But having the max machine gun, max flamethrower, the mortar, the boom cannons in there, that's a lot of defenses firing at a split attack there. So hopefully that should be enough to slow down, and hopefully your opponent not getting both ERs on the bottom right there. And of course, guys, if it's heavy Zuka, then they're just going to stick to one side, follow the defenses, and just like the SS Poundtown, this is great for slowing down heavy Zuka players, because the troops will normally take that natural path and just follow the defenses. And in this case, you're going to start at one end of the warship layout and work your way to the other side. And guys, as you can see, we've also got that lone laser just in the middle there, that prototype, whether if you're rocking a doom cannon, or if you're rocking a grappler, or if you're even rocking 2 prototypes, you can evenly space them out in the center here. Once again, guys, 99.99% chance your opponent will BART out the prototype, especially if you are rocking 1 here. So this is another great warship layout to defend against the heavy Zuka players. The new meta players will actually have a pretty easy time running this one over. So once again, if you are getting dominated by heavy Zuka players, this is another fantastic warship layout to consider. So alright guys, we are going to round up our list here with number 6, and that is going to be the compact base. And once again, guys, this warship layout, this 5 ER warship layout, centers around the fact that you are going to have all 5 of your engine rooms and all of your defenses, all of your mines highly concentrated, normally on the left side there, with 3 of those engine rooms along the left wall of the warship layout, and the 2 other warships spread out on the opposite side, still very close. Generally, you will have a front line of machine guns and flamethrowers on that bottom left tier leading up to the engine rooms, depending if your opponent does attack from the right tier. And when I go up against compact bases, I will attack from the right tier. Generally, I like to give the troops, the riflemen, a chance to naturally spread out and cover more ground, affect more defenses, and that goes the same with the bombardiers, because I do attack with the new meta, the 3-5 Rifleman Bombardier. So the compact base is a very good base because you've got a ton of defenses, highly concentrated defenses firing at once in all cylinders, in all directions. Whether you're going up against heavy Zuka players or new meta players, this warship layout will do you well. And depending on your tech layout, you could have 2 prototypes, you could have fully upgraded defenses, you could have shock launchers and rocket launchers. You would just spread those out accordingly here, because once again, you want all your defenses covering as much area in a very small compact area as well. So we've got some insane splash damage in single shot defenses here firing at once. And of course, in this case, when you guys are running the compact base here, your prototype will not be isolated like some of the previous bases. It's going to be thrown in there. In this case, we've got the laser tucked away at the top left there. Once again, guys, good chance my opponent is just going to BART it out. So be very careful and very cautious of where you do place your prototype if you are only rocking one. If you're rocking two, it's free game to spread them out there. Once again, cover as much ground as possible. Make your opponent work for taking out those prototypes. So alright guys, we've got 6 different 5-engine room layouts here for Warships Season 3. Starting off with number 1 again, guys, we've got the Shiskabobber Opdestroy. Number 2, we have got the Mr.Orland. Number 3, we have got the Trailer Park. Number 4, we have got the SS Poundtown. Number 5, the Race Base, Spread Out Base. And wrapping things up with number 6, the Compact Base. So, alright guys, definitely let me know in the comments what you thought of today's video. Let me know which one of these Warship layouts you yourself are rocking, or maybe if you're rocking a different Warship layout that I missed. Guys, do not forget to support the channel and leave that thumbs up on today's video. If you are new and enjoyed today's content, do not forget to crush that subscribe button, ring that bell, stay notified for when we upload awesome Boom Beach content and go live. Well, alright boomers, I think it's officially time to wrap up today's video. We are going to make like a Tom and cruise. Peace!